Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and try to find an angle to the race that might be a path to finding the winner. Well, I get a lot of comments on social media from my followers on Twitter, and one recently asked me if this season favourites were winning more often in Hong Kong. Hong Kong had maybe become a favourites paradise. So looking at Sunday's meeting at Sha Tin, I think we're going to find a number of races with short price favourites and fairly narrow as far as chances go. So I thought it was a good time to maybe have a look and see what that situation is. Now, firstly here we've got the Hong Kong favourites, the top favourite, from 2019 through to the end of last season. And I've listed the top 10 trainers with their outright favourite listed by strike rate over those 5 seasons. Now, also down the bottom, there's a summary of all runners from all yards. And you can see there a strike rate of just under 30% over those 5 seasons, which is about standard longer term for racing in Hong Kong. But when we have a look at the current season, obviously incomplete at this stage, in the summary line you can see favourites are starting only slightly shorter than they have been in recent seasons, but landing at about a 10% higher rate than usual, better than 1 in 3. You'll also notice that the leading trainers of winning favourites this season have some extraordinary strike rates. On the earlier table, Francis Loy was top with 42% strike rate and miles ahead of most of the other top 10 who were around 33% strike rates, and only just ahead of the overall trend. But this season you can see 6 trainers have been winning at 40% or better with their outright favourites. So favourites are doing better this year than usual, and in fact only one season this century, 2018-19, when favourites won at about 34.5% for the season, have favourites done better than they are doing in this current term. Anyway, on to Sunday, and the first race I want to take a look at is race 5, where our winning factor is the tempo switch. So this is a class 4, 1200 metres, and I think discussions here will be dominated by just 3 runners. David Hayes' debut winner, Akashvani, the horse who was favourite to beat him that day and ran 3rd, Flash Current, and Hugh Bowman's mount from the John Size yard, Sight Dreamer. And the focus here really has to be on the race won by Akashvani last month. He'd come off some very good trials and started a close second favourite to Flash Current, and here's what happened. This is race 487, Akashvani, gate 12, bluish colours, begins well enough. Flash Current, gate 9, white colours, begins just okay, but Harry Bentley is in no hurry anyway and eases him back. Meanwhile, Lyle Hewitson sends Akashvani to a lead that nobody else wants. So the first 400 metres, 4 lengths slower than average here. The middle 400 metres, about 2.5 lengths slower than average. And if you look closely, you can see Hewitson giggling as they come to the straight. Akashvani is enjoying himself, filling his lungs, and the race should be over. Flash Current also travelling well, but as they straighten for home, has to run down the straight almost a second faster than the leader to beat him. And when the leader is himself running more than half a second quicker than average, well, only a superstar can do that. And while he's a pretty decent young, inexperienced horse, Flash Current, he's not Ka Ying rising. So he did a good job to finish as close as he did. Now, 2 weeks later, this time it was Sight Dreamer who had tempo problems. This is race 527, gate 14, brown and white colours. And what we see here is the worst possible race shape for a finisher. Ryan Moore is forced to go back to the rear on Sight Dreamer from the wide gate during a slow first 400 metres. So he's just giving up ground very cheaply, free in fact, indeed at a time when sharper opponents are getting well ahead of him without spending much energy to get there. The rest of the race then is quicker than average from the 800 metres to the finish. First 3 are always near the lead, and Sight Dreamer finishes actually as well as any runner when you look at the times, but it isn't possible to get into the finish. So the story of our 3 chances in this race on Sunday is that 2 of them never really got to participate in their races last time, while the other one was able to lead, get everything his own way and won his race. So what we're often looking for in form analysis in racing is how things change and how those changed circumstances will change the results of races. And in terms of Sunday's race, I think plenty will change. On the map, Akashvani is 2 gates wider, although I don't think that's really the problem. What is the problem is the likelihood that he won't just cruise across to set his own speed, as a firm is drawn low, a speedy horse who loves to lead. Sea Sapphire also has plenty of pace, and even the likes of Golden Luck for Brittany Wong and Joyful Treasure will be looking to get forward positions. Now, I don't think Akashvani has to lead. Lyle Hewitson might even choose not to get involved in any speed battle, but things still do look a touch sticky, whatever choices he makes. Flash Current, he has a slightly better draw than his last 2, but has never looked to have a lot of early speed. So it isn't perfect, but it's a positive change, as he's probably looking for a midfield position rather than being right out the back, while Sight Dreamer also gets a benefit from a better tempo this time, but he has never shown any pace at all and probably is right at the tail once again. So the tip from me in race 5, Flash Current. His winning factor, the tempo switch. I don't think he lost any points at all getting beaten as a favourite last time behind Akashvani. I think he'll get a better tempo this time, and that's going to be key to him turning that result around. The other race I want to take a look at is race 7, where our winning factor is the map. So this is a Class 2, 1600 metres, only a small field, but still probably 3 or 4 good winning chances. Helene Feeling did a good job last start when caught wide. The Golden Scenery is always a chance in these races. Voyage Samurai continues to race consistently, and Woodfire Bro, back to a firm surface, has a shot. So I mentioned how things were against Helene Feeling at last start. We're going to see that in this coming replay with CP Brave and Winning Dragon, rivals on Sunday, also lining up this day. This is race 494 in tangerine colours, gate 12. Helene Feeling jumps okay. Winning Dragon, purple and red, is prominent. And in white colours back in the field, CP Brave. Now Luke Ferraris on Helene Feeling is looking to slot in behind the speed, but the best he can do in the slow first 600 metres, where the race doesn't really break open, is 3 wide with some cover. As they approach the first turn, the horse giving him cover decides he doesn't want to be there anymore and goes up to pressure the leader, leaving Helene Feeling exposed in the fastest section of the race. Outside Winning Dragon, and with CP Brave now in his back. So he's getting the worst run of those 3, but keeps trying, beats them home when the chips are down, but is unable to hold off the finishers who come from the rear of the field. So a very decent effort there from Helene Feeling, covering extra ground and carrying a bit of weight, a bit more weight indeed than the horses that beat him home. So plenty of merit to that effort. And there was also plenty of merit to Voyage Samurai's latest run, over 1600 metres. We're going to see that in a moment. And also engaged in this race were the Golden Scenery and Woodfire Bro. This is race 511, Voyage Samurai, gate 8 in those Voyage bubble colours, green and white. And gate 3, red colours, the Golden Scenery, Woodfire Bro, green and orange in gate 5. 2 things to note, this is on a wet track, and I don't think either the Golden Scenery or Woodfire Bro really appreciated that. The other thing is the heat map. You can see Voyage Samurai works hard to lead through the first half and never really gets a breath. When he turns into the home straight, he shakes off the others near him, but his tickets are already spent. He's a soft target when Sunlight Power, who's been lurking back in the field, hunts him down and then runs away. Still a brave effort for second there from Voyage Samurai, and we've seen him brave like that on a number of occasions when he's had pressure up on the lead. But when we look at the map for Sunday's race, it's a different ball game. There looks nothing here that can really match Voyage Samurai's early pace. Derek Lung should find the lead very comfortably here and get to call all the plays out in front to suit himself. I think Woodfire Bro is probably the fastest of his rivals, and he doesn't lead all that often. So it's all cards in the hands of Derek Lung. So the tip from me in race 7, Voyage Samurai, his winning factor, the map. Now, as I said, a very brave effort last time from this horse, and we've seen him brave on a number of occasions, and he's still been able to assemble rather a good record, 12 starts for 4 wins and 5 seconds, despite coming under pressure in the lead at a number of his races. Now, we're going to see something different on Sunday. Let's see how he goes without pressure on him up in front. Well, that's it from the winning factor this week. Good luck on Sunday. We'll see you next time.